אורל הוא אמן קעקועים ואמן רחוב, שביצע כמה פעולות מפוקפקות יותר ומפוקפקות פחות בעבורו. הוא גם סנטה קלאוס לעת מצוא, ובשנתיים האחרונות הוא חבר בקבוצת גלוקאליים ולוקח חלק בתהליך של חילופי ידע בין שכונת בשכונת והשכונה בנורדבנהוף בשטוטגרט. אורל הוא בעלים של סטודיו לקעקועים ברחוב הראשי של השכונה, והוא יחלוק איתנו היום מהניסיון שלו בסטודיו, גם כמקום מפגש מרכזי לבני הנוער מהשכונה, וגם כמקום שמארח אנשים מחוץ לשכונה. So, אורל, stage is yours.
Hello everybody. I will try to show you how I came to tattooing and the background of my work and the connections between my art and the society which is surrounded by the tattooing, and how my impact or the tattooing has been an impact in my life. And first of all, I want to show you the beginning of a documentary film about the association that we founded when we were pretty young in Heidelberg, where we decided to make up a festival. And it's been I think 97 was the first festival. And this was a group of friends, and we just decided, we met on a bridge and tried to organize ourselves. And yes, and this is me right now. You have seen, and this I live in this trailer. It's also an association. And after a few years, the festival became pretty famous, and there were, of course, a lot of people involved. And maybe we just wait a second to see the result, the first, and yes. And I was at the beginning involved as an artist. We made animation films for projections, and I made the logo, and on those stages, now, like you can see, this is a piece of work of mine for the trailer. And on those festivals there were a lot of people, of course, different artists, and this is where I was really, you could see a lot of tattoos, of course, and this is where I started to be intrigued in those, yes, so you can see there's a lot of things going on there, and on those festivals, yes, this is part of a society which is a subculture actually, and there in those subcultures, of course, you have like people trying experimenting with their skin, with the body modifications, with piercings, and so this is part of a society where I had the first experience with the tattoo, but I didn't have any tattoos at that time, but. And now I have to go to the other, I want to show you, okay. And my background is French and Swiss, and in France you have a lot of comics, and those comics, this is the Meta Baron, the author is Alejandro Jodorowsky, and he is tattooed, and he gives his power to the next generation through the tattoo. So also this comic thing was also an issue for me. This is also a piece of art of mine. It's inspired by the Japanese artist, and those Japanese artists also inspired a lot of tattoo artists, and so there's also a connection. And I also like to build and experience and do a lot of graffiti, and the graffiti scene is also pretty connected now with tattoo artists. There are a lot of tattoo artists who were graffiti artists before. This is me and a friend from Mexico City. He's a tattoo artist that I met in Mexico City, and this is an exposition we had together in Switzerland where I was doing some kind of performance with the tattooing. And also this was a piece of art where I had a penis costume to do some protests against the Stuttgart 21 construction site, and also I was also always involved in some activism things, which which was always, there was always a collective idea behind those activities that I had, you know? And also I like to draw a lot, so this is a sketch for a tattoo, for a back piece. And this is also like the funny part of all the... Okay, thank you. This was a part of, I call it Merculus. It's Angela Merkel as a Hercules, and she's the bull is Jupiter, you know, from the old Greek mythology, and he's kind of tired of capturing Europa. It's also, but now I can't switch anymore. No. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is also another piece of art from Frank Miller from Hardboiled. The comic title is Hardboiled. And there, when I was young, I was also really intrigued by all the things happening here. There you can see it's like some kind of red light district, and where everybody has tattooed and body modifications, and also this was, I could remember this specific comic, which was for me like, oh, it's so cool, like all those things, and it's supposed to be the future, so it was some kind of, okay, everybody in the future has tattoos, so it was also like an impact, you know. This is another part of it, and the funny thing is, after a while, the first shop we had in Mannheim with a good friend of mine, graffiti artist, this is also a comic of mine, it's just to show you the connection. And we had this little store in Mannheim in a part of the city which was really fucked up, but very cheap for the rent. And the red light district was at the end of the street. You can see there, the street goes on, and 100 meters on the right side, the red light district started. And we were actually selling graffiti cans, spray cans, and making graffitis for money. We tried to sell ourselves with our skills that we had, and made a living out of it. And we also had quite some fun there, because you know, we had dogs, and we could, it was some kind of, yes, this is the art that we did for commissions, you know. The people came and said, yeah, I want this and that, and so this is the way we made a living out of it. Like, this is like a room for some children where the parents said, hey, I want to have this and that. And then this is the other corner I was talking about. This is this bar at the corner of the red light district. And also, of course, this place is run by the Hells Angels. And suddenly those guys, they came into the store. Okay, this is also a piece of newspaper that I found when I was looking for the Brotschnaps for Eyal. And there's the sentence saying there's no city without society, no society without culture, no culture without subculture, and no subculture without red light district, and of course no red light district without prostitutes. So it's like everything is connected somehow in this subculture, culture, existence and coexistence. And this is the point where those guys suddenly stood in this tiny store that we had, and we were like, oh my god, you know, it felt like 20 guys of them. It was only 2 of them, but it felt like, oh, they're here now, and what's gonna happen? And then started to get those commissions, you know. So we had to paint the hookah houses and the bars, and of course they said, hey, do you want to have any tattoo artists in your shop? And we were like, okay, let's give it a try. So in this tiny shop, we started, you know, it was like 5 square meters, and we had the dogs, and then Simon came, and he started to do tattooing on the bench like this. It was, yeah, the first step into professionality. Yes. Yeah, and there you can see Michel, who's getting a tattoo. He already had a lot of tattoos. So, and this was the first commission that we did for those, for this organization, for this guys there, you know, for those angels. And of course, they also wanted to have like strange symbols. Like he is like the one told me I wanted to sit on the motorbike and ride through the sea like Moses did. And okay, yes, and yeah. After a while, they wanted to have everything painted. So this was the bar, and when you came in, painted the door, and then inside they wanted to have a big picture where you could see a big Hell's Angel, how do you call it, the deadhead they call it, you know, and of course they wanted to have their tattooed also on it, you know, so FA is Angel Forever, Forever Angel, so that's where it started. And of course those guys came all the time and said, well, you have to start tattooing, we have to start tattooing, and I was like always, yeah, maybe, we'll see. And then this guy came, and this was Mush, and he came out of prison, and he was connected to those guys, and he was looking for a job. So I said, okay, you can try in the shop to do some tattooing there. And in the prison, he was actually a pretty good tattoo artist, but he was highly addicted. He was on cocaine all the time, so the quality of the tattoos went down pretty fast, you know. So I was like doing the sketches. He always came to me and said, I need a lion, and so I drew the lion, and then the lion looked on the body, was looking like a teddy bear more, you know. So I was like, okay, maybe I should really try to do some tattoo, you know. So maybe I will make it better than him. And you can see the quality there that he was doing, you know. It's like, yeah, the hands and everything. So I was like, yeah, it's okay, but it's like kind of yeah. And so so I started tattooing in different kind of other shops of those guys where they had of course the table dance, and so I started tattooing also all the table dance girls, and because you've seen I've been involved in all this party thing, and so I felt pretty good there actually. So we were making tattoos, and afterwards also a lot of party. And sometimes I didn't even recognize the girl because I was tattooing her and concentrating on the tattoo, and then later on in the bar she was like half naked, hey, and then you're like, hey, who the fuck is this? And then I saw the tattoo, that's you. So we had quite some fun there in this red light district area. And then I visited a friend. This is Marco Schmidt. He's a performance artist in Mexico, and they asked him, do you know any tattoo artists? And he connected me to some Mexican tattoo artists, the guy I was doing the performance with. You saw the picture a few minutes ago. And I choose this photo also by Marco because this is also like some kind of playing with his body. The performance was called Crying for Madre, and he was like pressing red chili in his eyes so he would cry. So it's like also some kind of heavy, painful performance, you know, like also body related. And this is Fernando in Mexico with all the CB communities, and I was pretty happy to go back into this nice people, you know, not this heavy criminal guys, and it was more like, okay, it's now I have I'm away from all those people who can be a bit what do you call it? It's like it's difficult sometimes, you know. And then Fernando came to Stuttgart, and then we had nice times. We went to Lisbon, we had exhibitions together. He painted the wagon I was living in, and this is the exposition we had in Lisbon together, and we painted some murals together also. This is a mural with the Medusa kind of some kind of goddess, which is, and underneath you see this painting from Jericho, I don't know, the boat of the Medusa, where all those refugees are supposed to try to come somewhere, and it's pushing it away. So it's yeah. And then in Stuttgart, where I was also tattooing in my wagon, and those guys came up to me and said, "Orel, I need tattoos," and it's pretty interesting because those guys, they were like those left-wing anti-fascists. The right guy, he's Kurdish, and this was a big impact later on. And I said, okay, let's give it a try, and suddenly I had a lot of those customers, and those customers are Kurdish, most of them. And then suddenly the tattooing wasn't about like making those criminal idea stuff or the fancy thing. It was more like political tattoos or cultural tattoos. So, and you can see those guys were also pretty trained. I mean, they were like anti-fascists who built up a street gang, and this street gang was called Red Legion, and this guy was one of the founding members, and the gang of course became a criminal gang after a while. There came the new generation, and he left the gang because the gang was actually meant to be a political thing. And yes, and this is Leon, the other one, who is also in a professional fight. And those Red Legions guys, of course, they're now some of my main customers. And it's also that I had the feeling, okay, now it's getting back again to the criminal thing, you know. So it's you have always the development and the tattooing, and the thing is, when you're the artist, people tell you everything. So you always have to think about what are you going to do, because those guys are going to run away and they have your mark for their whole life. And yeah, so it's there's always a big discussion before you do the tattoo. You know, it's a big responsibility. You know, and a lot of those guys, they want to have, like, you know, respect, and I don't know what kind of like cheap ideas, you know, like not really a valued thing, and I always try to turn it into something positive, you know. So it's I can show you later on. So it's but it's always a process which is pretty heavy. This is like those Kurdish demonstrations. We have a lot of them right now, of course, because of all the political issue in Syria and Iraq and Turkey, of course, and most of them are Kurds from Turkey.
Where is this demonstration?
This is in Stuttgart.
And what was it for?
It's you know, against the political things that are happening in Turkey, you know, all the repressions there are, you know, against ISIS, against, you know, it's you know, Öcalan, the leader of the KKK, is an issue also. There's they're really frustrated, you know. There's people who are living in repression in Turkey, so it's and then even for them in Germany, it's not easy to they fight a lot each other, you know. It's pretty bloody actually, you know. And yeah, and this the new generation of those guys, you know, the parents came as immigrants to Germany, and they've been tortured, you know. You can see the scars on them, and but those people are really trying through association with lawyers and to get something. And the new generation, those new kids, I would say, are much more radical, you know, and support the PKK, and you know, they go there and fight, you know. They leave Germany and go to fight against ISIS, and so they're much more frustrated, and that's why, you know, this is the Red Legions, how you call merchandise, you know, that they're really heavily armed, you know. It's not like. And this is, for example, one of the tattoo I did for Murat, and you can see the anarchy sign in the background, the fist from which is also known from the Black Panther movement. And with the chain which is broken, and behind there's the scenery with the Kurdish mountains, and the 3 matches are for Muslim Dogan, which is a martyr. He died in Turkish prisons, and the myth says that he burned himself alive with 3 matches. So all people, you will see the symbols, you can see them everywhere on the tattoos. Yes, this is a Shahmaran. It's also a Turkish Kurdish mythology. It's a goddess, a snake goddess. So also there you can see it's the tattoos are very cultural. You know, it's not only politically, but it's also a cultural thing, and people want to identify with it. So it's not always has to be fancy. This is quite fancy, you know, but the other things sometimes are just like pretty. It's some kind of showing off who you are. This is for the line, the Alevite line, and the 62 is for Dersim. It's a city where in 1933 there's been some kind of massacre against the Kurdish population. I think it's not called Dersim anymore now. The Turkish changed the name of the city, but it's still 62. It's the number of the state, I think. Yeah. And there also you can see there's the lion again, and there are the 3 matches here next to the skull. And down under there's of course always this peace and freedom symbols with the birds, and often they use sentences from Che Guevara. You know, so it's really cultural and political, and for me it's always a really big discussion before this, because I don't want to put some scar on someone and he's going to regret it, you know, because he cannot go into Turkey anymore, you know. If he's seen in some places in Turkey, they will probably catch him and beat him up, and yeah. This is also one of the co-founding members of the street gang, and after a few years in prison, he wanted to have this phoenix, this burning phoenix, and of course all the symbols of the gang, the Red Legion symbol here, which is coded in numbers there, and there's you can see here there's the Kalashnikov with the star of the PKK, and so it's yeah, for me it's always it's difficult, you know, because it's like I said, it's people are gonna run to the end of their life with this, you know, but I know that if I don't do it, Murat always told me, you know, Orel, don't think too much about it, because if you don't do it, they will go to another tattoo artist who will do it. So yeah, so people, yeah,
but at least you have the conversation, you know.
Yes, at least I have a dialogue, and we talk a lot, we watch things together, we informate each other, you know, we do not talk only about the tattoo, actually we talk much more about political things, you know, and what's going on, and also this is interesting because there's really a connection between those Hells Angels, criminal organizations, and those guys, because actually everybody is living in this criminal-minded subculture, and is fighting for business. And I remember, like, those guys were supposed to go to Hells Angels and become Hells Angels, but there's another one who said, no, we don't want those guys, and the other said, oh, we are left-wing, and those are more the conservative guys. It's pretty crazy how those ideas mixed up together on the street, you know, on the yes. And this is, I put this photo also on Instagram because the Kurdish people, they always tell me that tattooing is also part of their culture. This is, the women used to be all tattooed. So this is why I wanted to show you this. It's, I think it's pretty beautiful how they use like those old patterns. Yeah. And this are also part of 3 brothers which are in this gang. And Mekan, the one on the left, is now fighting in Kurdistan, and he had like this video message on YouTube where he said, yeah, you know, getting tattooed Kurdish symbols and so, that's not the real thing. You have to fight, and
So I was like, you know, you stay there and you look at him and say, oh man, maybe he's going to get shot tomorrow, you know, it's some kind of, you know, it's the next level then, you know, so first the tattoo and then they go to war or what. So I'm like really confronted with this heavy stuff all the day. Yeah, the other one is in jail right now, and the one in the middle, I haven't seen him since quite a while, and now they're totally tattooed also. This is an old photo I found in the net. This is also like typically Kurdish, you know, again, the freedom, what do you call this bird? Dove. Dove, yeah. And the sun is really important in Kurdistan. There's this star sun on the flag, and with the 21 flashes. This is also saying, yes, Mother Earth has betrayed us, because the Kurdish folk always has been betrayed in some kind of way, you know, like Saddam, the English people, so they always feel betrayed, and it's also pretty heavy stuff to have on your body all the day. This is where I try, like, there'd been this girl coming and she wanted to have this big Kurdish girl on her forearm, you know, in a big lettering, and I was like, maybe you should try to take the lettering a bit smaller and make something beautiful out of it. So, yeah, so this is the result. And she, that's the point also, it's always about money also, you know, so. And I said to her, yeah, but is it going to be more expensive than only the written part? And I say, yeah, come on. So, and this is also interesting because a lot of them wants to have cover-ups, and this is a big thing in tattooing. People regret the tattoo, so they want to have another tattoo over it. And a lot of those guys that have been, the education was very religious, so they have religious symbols tattooed. And now that there's all these political issues, they want to have them covered up. So most of it is this Alevite sword, you know, the sword of the Prophet Ali, which has 2 blades in front. So this is one, you cannot see it anymore. And of course, this bird, the falcon, is also a symbol in the Kurdish movement, fighting symbol. This is also a martyr, a Kurdish one. And of course, in this place where I work, there are a lot of different people. You know, this is like an Italian guy, and he wants, of course, to have all the Christian things. Of course, this is a biblical thing. Then this is an Afghan guy, and he's in the refugee center next to me, and he helped me out to work to renovate my place. He was helping me painting the walls, so I said, and he wanted to have a tattoo, he wanted to pay for it, and I said, no, let's have me work out, and then we will do the thing, you know. This is an Arab guy, also an Alevite from Iraq, and of course the lion is always and then there are the Orthodox guys. And this is a Russian guy, and he wanted to have the face of his mother as the Pietà from Michelangelo. So I had to Photoshop the face of the mother, and then...
It's very political.
Yeah, it's not known, but that's the thing, that it's every customer is different, and of course this is the grandfather of a Turkish guy, you know, so yes. And then there's like the thieves, you know, the people who like, yeah. This is the symbol from the Beck's beer. You know Beck's beer? No. Beck's from Bremen. From Bremen, yeah, beer. And there's the key of Bremen normally in it. The key, and he says, this is my key. So, yeah. And then there are like people who want funny stuff, you know, that just come up with the idea, and you can see the little sketch down here, and yes, it's the flamingo with the bat thing, and this is done. And then we...
Can I ask something?
Yeah, of course, yes. I think I'm also finished now with the presentation. Yes, this is another Russian guy, you know, so also Christian symbols and eagles, and you know, other artists, they have like really crazy ideas with the Minotaur and yeah. So it's and a lot of Turkish girls, they also use those symbols that you find everywhere here in the Middle East or in the East. It's a constant. This is a DJ also, and you want to have from Holbein the Dance of the Deaf. And behind it you can see this cholera old. It's an old picture actually, the old, pretty old from the Middle. Yeah, so you have to work out everything in a different way, and of course, because I use my tattoo studio actually more as a meeting point for a lot of friends, and it's not that you come in and you see, okay, it's a tattoo studio, and but there's a lot of more things happening there, and yeah, that's why there's always a big discussion about the motives and who are you, and sometimes I'm a bit afraid that, you know, because of all these political issues there are now with the Kurdish and the Turks, and I have a Turkish friend who's also tattooing now, and he was afraid to, is it okay if I work in this place, because I heard that all the Kurds are coming to your place for the tattoos, and I say, hey, come on, it's they also have Turkish, they're Turks actually, you know, so it's yeah, it's quite exciting. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you about, because your place, people come together in groups and they tattoo themselves for life, like you say, and a lot of it is it's like a ritual of belonging, or it's, I don't know if to call it a spiritual ritual or a pagan ritual of creating, of kind of like marking yourself with blood and with paint in order to go into a group that symbolizes something.
Yeah, there's so many aspects, you know, there are people who really, they feel pain, like the mental pain, and they want to override it with the physical pain. There are people who just want to have a fancy thing, who just want to show off. There are young people that want to participate in some movement, so it was funny, Murat, the founding member of this gang, and he made the Kurdish star on his elbow, and suddenly it went viral, you know, like everybody has now this star. I think I made it myself like 50 times maybe, you know. And then the neighbor of mine, a kid, you know, suddenly shows up and he also has this star, you know. It's, so people want to participate with the symbol, and some others are just like, you know, I want some fancy stuff, and you know, like the Italian people, that they're most religious, but also just they just want to have some nice things on their skin. Yeah.
And your shop is also used as a kind of gathering, informal gathering space for a lot of the youth from the neighborhood, no?
Yes, yes, it's you know, the neighbors.
What do you think draws them there?
I don't know. It's like I'm in the middle of the location of the district, and I think I'm also interested to communicate. You know, I'm always looking for some good conversation, and so I think, and they know that I accept it. You know, somehow. Sometimes I struggle a bit when I have to work and concentrate myself, but in the evening it's okay, you know. So, and people need space. You know, I have a lot of artists who just need space, they need the place to show their stuff, and so it's okay. So people know that. So I think it's the way it goes right now. Yes.
Is there any more questions?
I would like to ask something about this. The old lady you showed, which had tattoos on her face.
Yes.
Like, if you know, what's the meaning behind this? Because I find it quite interesting. Like, they tattoo like that one place you cannot hide. Yes.
Yes, because I think the reason why they get tattooed was like not like, okay, we want to look fancy. It was really like, you belong to this tribe. It's like really, okay, now you're married to this guy, and that's why you get this tattoo, because now you're part of this clan. You know,
it's related to marriage.
To the origin, of course. I don't know if it's only marriage, but it's of course it's related to, okay, you belong to this part of thing. I mean, it's more a mark. It's not that they decided to do it. It's like a traditional marking, you know. So it's not really, so when people tell me, hey, my grandma is also tattooed, I think, yes, I know, but it's not like really that you wanted to have them, you know. It's like more, it's a part of the thing, you know, it's a mark. Yeah.
Anyone else?
I have another question. I wanted to ask if there are any tattoos that you might not be able to make.
Of course, yes. Often I say, come on, please. And then that's why the dialogue starts. You know, this is what I told you. Those kids come and they want to have like respect and loyalty here in big old English letters, you know, which is like totally the style of hooligans and I mean like really like right-wing guys, you know, skinheads, right-wing skinheads, or which is not, you know, it's like okay, it's not possible, you know. So I always, that's where the dialogue starts, you know, and I show him this and that and think about it, and you know, especially when they don't have if it's a Hells Angels, you know, come and he has like 200 tattoos and there's a little bit of space left there and he wants to say, I don't know what, you know, so they okay. Yeah, but it's like this, you know. Yeah, it's, I remember Ralph, you know, the big guy I showed you, who came in and there was a party and he said, I want to have this now, the three names of the three different kids he has with three different wives and the date of the birthday, you know. And he was asking his girlfriend, do you know who had been born when? And of course everything was mixed up and then now it's totally black here, you know. And I said, hey, I was thinking about it. We're all drunk, we don't. Yeah, and he didn't tell me, it's his friend who told me, you know what? Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, has there ever been a problem for, did you get drawn into a conflict because you were associated with Hells Angels that are more like right wing and then an Antifa group that's so?
No, because I never hid my mentality. When I talk to those guys, they know I'm the left wing punk and all my friends are gays and I don't know what, and intellectual and artists and Jews and I don't know. So it's I never hide this, you know.
Yeah.
For me it was always very important, you know, Ralph, I'm like this, and if you talk like this, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's never had a problem with this.
Sometimes you feel like,
Okay, I'll leave.
no, sometimes you have a problem do the specific kind of tattoo. I mean, like racist tattoo or I don't know.
No, I don't do racist tattoo.
You just say no, I won't
No,
do it.
but people know also that I won't do it. There's like one time there was this Turkish guy and he came in and he wanted to have this wolf, yeah, you know, this typical wolf from the nationalist party and from the grey wolves, you know. So I said, hey, sorry, you know, this is not working out. So of course, but it's like, you know, people know who I am, and so they know that he's not going to do it.
Mary, you want to share a story maybe? Or I would share a story, or you could share the story when the Glocals project came to your shop.
Yes,
I mean, nobody really remembers how things happened.
Yeah, me neither. I just know that I started to tattoo, Mer wanted to have a tattoo. And then you were the first one who came up, and then it went like, everybody suddenly stood there and we had a lot of beer and we were tattooing each other all night long, and Everybody now has a tattoo. It's great. And I also have one of Mare, you know, a man never tattooed before, and I said, come on, Mare, now you tattoo me. So we all...
It was a very nice evening.
Yeah, beautiful. And this is a thing which happens like I think once a year or twice a year. There's a group of friends, and last time there was like the graffiti crew. Yes, there was this graffiti crew, and they're international, and they meet each year once in a different city. And this time it was in Stuttgart, and they asked me, "Okay, can we do the meeting at your place and make the party afterwards in the waggons?" And I say, "Of course, yes." And then they separated into 3 different groups and ran away through Stuttgart, and everything was full of graffiti. They painted every train they could have, and then they cut their hair, and then suddenly they were the next mission was getting tattooed. And if you are naked, you get twice as much points, and if you have no tattoos, it's like triple, and if you do it yourself, it's like... So they were all naked, tattooing themselves in my shop. Yeah, so it was, they always, yeah, it was, so there's quite a lot of times there's like this, it's not a tattoo shop where I just do commercial tattooing, you know, it's like really,
it's a social place.
Yeah, I always wanted this idea, and now that it's working out, I'm trying to be more sophisticated, so it's, I have to find a way where it's both working out, you know, because it has to be hygienic, and actually smoking is not good, and that it shouldn't be beer everywhere. So, yeah. So.
How do you feel when you tattoo people?
I'm nervous. I'm always nervous. I'm always depends. It's always I'm always very concentrated, and so it's always it depends, you know, like those things, it's different, you know, but if it's just a commission and I don't know the people, they come with this, it's like, yeah, there's an expectation, and I respect this, you know, like, you know, it's, so for me it's like, you really have to, and I always have like the ritual how I do it, so I can find my way into this feeling that I have to have when I concentrate, you know. I cannot be like, okay, and then there's this, and then, okay, so it's always I have to calm down, and then, yes, so, yeah. And there's always like the different steps, like there's the meeting, and then there's the sketch, and then maybe the critic, and then if everything is cool, then we make the next appointment for the tattoo.
Almost like a doctor. Like it's a great responsibility.
It's actually you working with the medical products, you know, and it should be, you should have this awareness to that's the hygienic and all the different. I also go to different conference about this thing, you know, to learn about the new hygienic problems they get, you know, all the skin stuff, and there's a big exchange between those body modification artists, and it's really. Really interesting. Yes.
Did you bring a machine?
Yes.
Last time I did. This time I thought, but we can build one. I think this is going to be the next workshop. And I mean, we have the Fab Lab there. I bet there is a 3D data somewhere. Yeah, I bet there is. It must be.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as taste in tattoos, or are more better than less? Or
of course, there's magnificent people who do like really great work, and it's so different. So that's why I talked about my artwork, because there's so many different things and so much great artists, and it's impossible to show all those things, you know. It's like, and the Japanese are different than the guys from New Zealand, and but everything is like really. Of course, there's a bad taste, but even this could be sometimes funny, and you know, it's like it's not it's not always about how it's looking, how the fancy look is, you know. It's a combination. It's the history behind it, how it develops, you know, how did you get your tattoo is the most important, interesting part about the tattoo, you know.
All right, I think we have to end here. Thank you for this fascinating highlight of the social and political aspects of tattooing.